Okay, so this is week 7 Monday, Q4 Math 6. This is a study guide on percentages. So let's go ahead and get started with question number 1. Go ahead and read, please.
Find the percent. Find what percentage shading?
Oh, are these the one you shaded or it's already shaded?
It's a
Okay, how many squares do you have here for the length? How many squares on the bottom? Chances are it's probably 100 and 100, right? How many do you have here? Okay, so remember it's the part over, is a part over whole? Yeah. So your whole is 100, correct? How many parts are there? Okay, so the question is not 17 over 100. The question is what percentage, right? If it's 17 over 100, that means this is equal to 0.17, which is equal to 17%. And the reason why it's 17% is because you take that and go 2 spaces to the right. Do you see that? So that is your answer. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so I want you to go ahead and copy that part down, please. Make sure you do everything that I do.
Okay, everybody. Shade 1/2. Like 0.1. I am.
Oh, no, it's 0.5%. It's not 1/2. Hold on, no. That's 0.5%. Is that what it says? Is 0.5%?
Yeah.
Okay, 0.5% in decimals is 0.5%. Do you see that?
Mm-hmm.
If I change the percent, I need to change the decimals. What you do is you're gonna move to the left. So that's gonna go 1, 2 this way. So that's 0.001. So when you shade it, it's like right there. Go grab your calculator for me for a second. Where's your calculator? 0.5% means that
Like equal to 50.
no. 0.5% versus 50%. Do you see the difference there? Well, go find it and bring it back over here because you need it. I think you have it in the office. Did you find it? you find it?
Mhm.
Okay. There's a difference there. So sit down, let me explain. Okay. There's a difference between 1/2 of a percent versus 50%. Okay, look over here. 50% means out of 100 squares, right? You color how many? 50 squares, correct? 1/2 of a percent. If you think about 1/2 of a percent is very close to 1%, right? If it's 1%, you will color 1 square out of 100 squares, right? 1/2 of a percent means that you're going to color literally 1/2 of a square. Do you see that? So it's this, it's 1/2 of it. So it's just that little triangle right there. Do you see that? So there's a difference. You got to be very careful. Okay? So put things into perspective that way. Okay? All right, so color that, please. Okay, question number 3.
What percent of the area of each
Subregion. I'm going to call this subregion A. And this is going to be subregion B. Do you see that? We want to find the whole thing. What's the whole? So you gotta look over here. How many squares do you have on the bottom?
like 8. Yeah, so
What about on the side?
6.
So your whole region is out of 48, right? So look at subregion A. What is subregion A? How many squares do you have?
5.
Okay. So what's the area? 4 times 5 is?
20.
Out of 48. What's 20 divided by 48? Grab your calculator. If you make an estimate, what percentage would that be? You know that 20 out of 40 will be 50%, right? But 48 is bigger than 40. So 20 out of 48 will be a little bit smaller than 50%.
0.4. 0.417.
Okay, so if you change that to a percent, because the answer here is what percent of the area, right? You go 2 spaces to the right, which is 41.7% for region A. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Now for region B, what is your area for region B? So count the number of squares that you have total.
It was 8 and 6.
Well, an easier way of doing this is couldn't you do the whole thing, and the whole thing would be 48, right? Minus A, what was A again? Didn't you say it was 20? So if you do the whole thing minus A, wouldn't that give you B?
Yeah.
So what's your B region then? You don't need to use a calculator for that.
28.
28 out of what's the total?
Point.
What? No. What's your whole? The whole thing.
$68.
I don't know how you got 68. How do you get 68? Hey, either you go ahead and pay attention or you can figure it out yourself. I'm not gonna have you sit here and have me do all the work and then you not pay attention and give me the wrong answer. So either you pay attention, stop rubbing your face, or else you could figure this out by yourself with that. The whole thing is 6 times 8. So what is it?
48.
So it's 28 out of what?
48.
Grab your calculator. You're not gonna be able to use a calculator, so you're gonna have to practice dividing decimals. What does that give you? You don't know how to divide decimals? All right.
I know how to do that.
Really? Okay, then show me what your answer is. I'm gonna give you a very fair warning right now. Cut the attitude, or else you're just gonna do this by yourself. This is your second warning. Once we get to the third warning, I'm done. You understand?
Mhm.
What's your answer? What's 28 divided by 48? You have a calculator right there.
You literally just said you wanted me to say.
I do. I want you to go ahead and do this on your own. After you're done, I'm not gonna sit here and wait for you to do that. My time is valuable. I have other stuff to do. So what's your answer? Cut the attitude. That's your third warning. One more and we're done. What would that be in percent?
583%.
583%? Is that two decimals to the right? Write the answer down. I'm sorry, am I inconveniencing you?
I see that.
Your attitude is making me feel like you're not very appreciative of this, and I don't appreciate it. So cut off the attitude. That is your fourth warning. You're now arguing, so I suggest you stop. Do you have it written down?
Mhm.
Next question. Ready whenever you are. You have 14 more minutes before I go pick up your brother. After that, you're on your own. Is that number 5?
Or number 4?
Go ahead.
The following change 50%.
Before you can share 60%, you need to figure out what the whole is. What is the whole?
Well,
There are 12 squares for the whole.
no.
The whole is all the squares. How many squares are there?
96.
How do you know that?
Because it's like 8 squares in here, which is 12 over here.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if it was an actual square or rectangle, it would be 12 times 4, which is 48. So I don't know how you got 86 because it's also missing this part right here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's 48 minus 8. Just count the squares. Explain to me how you got 86 or whatever you said.
Because it was like counting the bottom of this part.
Okay, how many is that?
8.
The bottom? I don't see there's 8, there's 12.
Not like this part.
Okay, but then you're not going to count the entire other side that's sticking out? You need to count how many squares there are. Just count all the squares. So what you need to do to find the whole is you need to go ahead and count every single square in the shape. So start counting all the squares. That's all you have to do. Count it. How many squares are there? Certainly hope you know how to count. That's not a difficult thing to do. Is my pen over there? Yeah, 48. Is there an easier way for you to go ahead and figure out that's 48 without counting everything?
I don't know.
Is there a different way for you to figure that out besides just counting everything?
Add
What are you gonna add?
12 by 12.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know.
Then get your head up and pay attention. because you're wasting my time right now. I don't appreciate it. How many's right there?
12,
What about this part right here?
4,
That 48 would mean it's this entire thing. Correct?
mhm.
Does that shape include the entire thing here, or are there some pieces missing?
The 2 sides,
How many squares are in each of these?
4,
How many here?
4,
So then what am I going to subtract from the whole thing?
4,
So what is it?
8,
8? What's 48 minus 4 minus
40.
1?
40.
That is your whole. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Good. So if the entire thing is 40 and you need to color 60% of it, right? Color 60% of 40. What that means is you simply take 40, you times it by 0.60. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Now, you know what 50% is. What's 50% of 40? Which is half of 40. What is that?
2,
2?
20.
It's 20, because 40 divided by 2 is 20. So if you need 10 more percent of that, what would that be?
30.
No, that would be way too big. You need 60%. So grab your calculator. What's 40 times,
25.
go grab your calculator. What is 40 times 0.60? Did your teacher go over some of this today in class?
I don't.
What do you mean you don't know? What did she go over? What were you doing?
I don't even think she went over anything.
Then what were you doing? What were you doing?
I don't know what I don't know.
Shouldn't you be paying attention in class?
She was like, we were literally looking at a video. So.
Okay. On what? On percentages?
Yeah.
That's great to know that you're learning so much in there. What's 40 times 0.60? What is the
24,
answer?
24.
So you're gonna color how many squares?
24.
You're gonna color 24 squares out of 48. Later today, you're gonna have to show me that you know how to do 40 times 0.60. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And I want to see that on your paper. So let's color it. Color 24 squares. There's 12 right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know there's 12 on the bottom. That should be 24, and that's sufficient. I don't know what you're doing. 12 and 12. Did I color what you colored?
No.
Go grab a color pencil and color it correctly, please. There's a color pencil right there.
Okay.
You have math tomorrow.
Yeah.
Is this due tomorrow?
Yeah.
It's due tomorrow.
It's just started when I
So does she even grade it?
No.
Okay. Number 5, go ahead.
What percent is the area of each subregion of the area of the entire region?
Okay. What shape is this?
The hexagon.
How many sides are there? Let's start with that. N equals the number of sides. How many sides are there?
It's not a hexagon.
How many sides are there?
It's 8.
So what shape is that called if it's H-shaped?
Octagon.
Okay. So then how many triangles can we make in here? I want you to take your color pencils. Do you see the little dots I'm putting right there? I want you to go grab your color pencils and put the dots on there.
7.
No, there isn't. If it's an octagon, it should have 8 vertices, which is 8 little dots. Right?
Mhm.
Okay. So can we agree that there are 8 triangles here?
Yeah.
And then let's break this down. There is subregions A, subregions B, subregions C. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. Your teachers has never taught you guys this. So okay, so your whole, we're gonna say this in terms of triangles. The whole is 8 triangles. Do you agree?
Yeah.
So we're gonna say part over whole is gonna be how many triangles out of 8, right? Like how many triangles are ABC out of 8? Do you see that?
Mhm.
So let's take a look at the first one. A is the first one. So for A, do you see there is one triangle right there, right? But then there's also half a triangle right there. Do you see that?
Yeah.
So this is 1.5 out of 8. So grab your calculator. What's 1.5 divided by 8?
0.1875.
Do you see how you're not going to get this if you do not have a calculator?
Yep.
Or you don't know how to do division by decimals? So you get to practice with us, yes?
Yeah.
What would this be in percentage?
18.75%.
That's your answer for part A. And on your paper, you need to label ABC. That's important.
Yeah.
Go ahead and label right now, ABC. But first thing you need to do, you need to make sure that you have a line right here. So grab a different one to accentuate this like that. Do you see that?
Yep.
Yeah. So go ahead and do that, please. So that's why I asked you to use color. So you should use some lighter color first before you use a darker color. And if you can't see it because you already drew over it, here's another picture there on the bottom. You see that?
Yep.
So part A equals 18.75%. So make sure you write down and label A for what it is. Next one to do is going to do B. Okay?
Yeah.
How many triangles are in B?
There's like 2.
2. Yeah, there's one right there. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Well, actually, no. There's 2. And then there's half. Do you see that right there?
Yep.
So it's 2.5 because how do I know that this is 1? Do you see how the 2 vertices, that's 1. That's 2. Do you see that? The other vertices is right there, so I know it's a half. Do you see the little endpoints right there? You got to count the little vertices, the little pointy parts. Look it up there. Do you see that?
Yep.
So what is your fraction then? How many triangles out of 8? How many triangles out of 8? How many triangles are there for B?
2.5.
Yeah, so grab your calculator. You're gonna have to divide this on your own tonight. What's 2.5 divided by 8?
0.3125.
What would that be in percentage?
31.25.
Good, write that down. That's your answer for B. Okay, let's take a look for C. How many triangles are in C?
There's 3 triangles.
1, 2, 3. You're right. There's 1, 2, 3. So what's 3 divided by 8?
0.375.
What would that be in percent?
37.5.
Good, write that down. Okay, number 6. Actually, I gotta go, so I'm gonna pause this right now. I'm gonna have you and Emma. Okay, so number 6, what does it say? So it says complete the figure. So it's already shaded some, but not all, right? So let's look for the whole, because that's the first thing that we need to do, right?
Yeah.
So how many squares are there for the whole thing?
It's 100.
How many is it here, down here?
10.
How many is over here?
Wait,
I don't think it's 10.
that's
You can't just assume it's out of 10. Like, some of the questions are a little bit more tricky. How many questions are there? Or how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on the fridge. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14? Check. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I keep getting 13.
I could do it wrong. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. You gotta count that last one there. 14. Ow! Why do you keep on hitting things? Like, can you just not? How many is on the side?
7.
So what's 14 times 7?
98.
Okay, so your whole is 98. So it's almost 100, but not quite 100. Yes?
Yep.
All right, 40%. 40% means 40% of 90A squares equals how many squares that you have the color? So that equals 98 times 40, 0.40. You what? That's because your stuff is not loading correctly. Why is this not loading correctly? It's right here, Quinta. What are you talking about? Right here, incident report. Look on that. Get your food and finish that. So take your calculator. What's 98 times 0.40? 40% is very close to 50%. Do you agree? well, actually, let's say 98, okay. 98% is very close to 100, right? 40% of 100 is 40 squares. 98 is smaller than 100. So it's just a little bit smaller than 40. So is it 38, 39? What is it? What are you doing? Like, you're supposed to multiply that.
39.2.
39.2%. So what that means is that you need to color 39 squares, right? And then the very last square, the 0.2 means that if you were going to go ahead and like break it down into 10 pieces, right? The 0.2 means out of 10 pieces, you're going to color 2 of them. 10 pieces, that's inside the square, you're going to color 2, okay? So if I were breaking down this in 10 pieces, so here's 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, that looks bad. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Coloring 2 of those pieces would mean that in a square, it's only be these 2 pieces right there. Does that make sense? Since you already colored 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, you already colored 13 squares. You need to color 39 squares and then 0.2. So how many more squares would you need to color? There's 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39. That's 39, right? And then just a teeny bitty little piece right there on the 40. That's all you have to do. Now color it. Why are you slapping your leg? I'm sorry. Is me helping you inconveniencing you somehow? Well, then learn from your mistakes, and I'm sure you'll do better next time. Don't just assume it's out of 100. When are you done with the report? If you're not, I don't know what you're doing. Let's go ahead and stay on task, please. Bonnie, where is your spelling for today? No, where's your spelling? Where's your spelling? Yeah. You're also being recorded right now, so I suggest you watch your words. I don't understand why these are not written down from last week. What's going on here? What's going on with that, Maddie? Maddie, what's going on with that?
Because well, at least they got 100 still.
No. I asked you to go ahead and write it down. You write it down. Do you understand?
Yes, Mom. Yes, Dad.
Here you go. Read the question, please.
Mama, can I have non-different below so that AB is 20% of the time?
I'm gonna go ahead and start another page because this one's getting kind of full. So. Okay. 20% of its length, right? If your total is out of 10, 20% of 10, right? Means that you cut it into 10 pieces. And you only shade how many pieces if it's 20%? 2 pieces, right?
Yeah.
So let's take a look at the tick mark. From A to B, that's 2, right?
Yeah.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Complete the segment below, so AB is only 20% of its length. So then, well, 2 pieces, you stop at 10, right? So then you just, well, it's going to end right here at 10. This is where the segment ends, right?
Yeah.
So you could just stop right there. I just put stop. Because remember, 20% of 10 segment means I shaded 2 segments. You need to write that down. Okay, so label it. You could put 0 right there for A, 2 for B. Okay, make sure you go ahead and do that, please. 20% of its length, right? 20% of 10 means that out of 10 pieces, you only use how many pieces out of 10? 2 pieces, right? 2 out of 10 is 0.20, right? Which is 20%. Do you see that? 2 out of 10 is 0.20 equals 20%. You're not coloring 10, you're stopping at 10. It's saying, how long do I need to keep making this go? So I'm only using 20%. From A to B, it's 2, right?
Yeah.
From 0 to 10, that's 10 pieces, right? 20% of those 10 pieces is just right here. So that's why you have to stop right here. Give it to me, please. Give it to me, please. Emma, give it to me, please. Give it to me, please. Thank you. I know. Can Maddie use it for a spelling word, Emma? I know it's yours, but can he please use it?
No, he didn't give it to me.
Can you please ask nicely, Maddie? Ask nicely with a whole sentence.
Please, Emma.
Emma, what? What do you want to do? Emma, being a good little sister, say, yes, Maddie, you can use it for a little bit and then give it back. That's what you say to somebody who asks nicely. I know it's yours, but you can go ahead and say, you can use it for spelling, but when you're done, you give it right back. I'll give it to him. Is that a good choice or not a good choice? You're gonna get it back. Get away from him, please. Are you done with your report? So go ahead and color it in, please. Not color it, but just label it. Segment ends right there. 10 pieces. Okay, what's the next one? Number 8, go ahead.
Find point B.
You need to read it. I don't know what it said. You just mumbled it, and I don't understand what happened. So you need to read it to me.
I'm sorry.
You don't know how to read? Because that's all I'm asking you to do. Well, do you want to take a break right now? Because we can stop right now.
5.B for length of essay is 1/3% of SB.
Find point B if the length of SA is 33 point. Okay, so 33.33% is the same thing as 33.33%. And I know that because the 1/3 is the same thing as 0.33. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
So this is like, this is basically saying, if this is how big something is, I'm going to go ahead and break this into 3s. So from here to here, there's 1, from here there's 2, from here there's 3. Do you see that? So 33.3% is just going to be 1/3, right? Because that is 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, right? Because 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3 is equal to a whole. Because it's 3/3, which is 1, and that is a whole. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
So this right here is representing 1/3, right? How many little pieces do you have here? 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 pieces, right? And go 1, 2, 3, 4. This right here will be another third, right?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. That's another third. You stop right there. That is going to be B. That's B because that is a third. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Does that make sense, kind of?
Yeah.
Okay, so what you can do, let's just go ahead and you can write this right here and do that 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, okay? Then you see the little dots that I put right there? Do you see the dots?
Yeah.
That's the actual location. This is 0. This is 1/3. This is 2/3. This is 3/3. You see that? Okay, I'm glad that makes a little bit more sense. Okay, I mean, I know it doesn't make sense now, but the more exposure you have it to it, you will get better at it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, number 9. You do need to, however, copy it down. So copy it down first for number 8. You're gonna label everything. Maddie, I'm gonna tell you one more time to go back over here and finish your spelling.
Yes, Mom.
Don't get off your seat, please. Go sit down.
Clinton.
I'm telling you right now, I'm not feeling very well. I'm feeling sick, so please just leave it.
Oh, I don't think my computer's touch screen anymore.
I don't know what to tell you. I suggest you just finish your report, please. And then when you're done with it, shut the whole thing down and restart it. Are you ready for number 9? Or am I just waiting for you to be ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, read the next question, please. Just waiting for you.
The television that usually sells for $420 is like 15% of the price. This is still nice.
Okay, so 15% off, right?
Yeah.
So what we're gonna do here is 15% off of 420 is, so the way I do this, remember how you have part? What's the formula? Part over what? Is equal to? Yeah. So 15%, where do you put that? What about 420? Is that the part or the whole? That is the whole. Right? So X is gonna be the part, and X is gonna represent what once you solve it?
It's gonna represent 6,300.
6,300? Where do you get 6,300? I don't know what you're talking about. X is going to represent the discount of how much money you need to take off of $420, right? The discount to subtract from 420, right? So let's cross multiply. X times that is 100x. You don't just go 420 times 15 equals X. There's 100 right there. You're going to have to divide that, right?
Yeah.
420 times 15 is what?
6,300.
Divided by 100 is? No, no, no. 63, just cancel the zeros. Do you see that? So you're gonna get $63 off, right? So this is $63 off. Off of what? Off of the original price. So then how do you find the sale price? What would you have to do with the $63? Good. And what is the sale price?
$357.
Okay. I think that's what the time we have for right now. I'm gonna pause this right now, and then we'll come back and finish this. Go ahead and read the next part.
Television that usually sells for $420 on sale for 15% off the regular price.
Didn't we just do that? Did you not copy it down? What question are we on now?
10.
Read, please.
This year's Wolfpack basketball tickets cost $25, which is 125% of last year's cost. What was last year's cost?
This year's 125%. Last year is just 100%, right?
No.
Do you see with 125%, there is 5 pieces because 5 times 25 is 125.
Yep.
So then what you're gonna take $25 divided by 5, which will give you the percentage for each 25 piece, right?
Yeah.
So what is 25 divided by 5?
5.
100% is gonna be 5. What do you think it's gonna be? If this year's 125%, and that's gonna be equal to $25, just based on guessing, what do you think that's gonna be? Is it gonna be bigger than 25 or smaller than 25? 125% is $25. 100% smaller. So your answer is gonna be smaller. So what do you think the answer is gonna be?
$10.
$10 is less than 50%, which means half of 125 is not 100. 100 is pretty close to 25. $20. Can you kind of see where I'm getting that? $25 times 5 equals 125%, right?
Yeah.
20 times 4 gives me
480.
I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. That is insane. I don't even know. 20 times 4 is 20 times 5. Isn't give you what?
100. Sorry.
Make it what you will. I don't care. Number 11. I'm tired. I'm not feeling. I'm sick. So let's go.
Okay.
Number 11.
What is 24% of 18?
How do you set this up? Go ahead and set it up. What's the formula for this? Where do you put the 24? Where do you put the 18?
The whole.
Where does X go? Let's cross multiply. What is your X gonna be?
My X,
Grab your calculator. You're gonna have to show the work on how you actually got that, but show the work. Take your calculator. What are you gonna multiply? What do you have for X? Walk me through how you will solve this. How would you multiply this? Hey,
when I'm cross multiplying, I will multiply 18 by 24, which is 432.
okay, which is equal to what?
X.
No. When you cross multiply that, what is X times 100? Why would that be X? What is X times 100?
100x.
You keep forgetting that. You do this all the time. So now divide it by 100. Take your calculator and divide it. I don't have time for you to do the math. You're gonna have to do this later on by yourself later today.
4.32.
So what is 24% of 18? 25% is 4.32. If you think about it, just as a common sense thing, 50% of 18, what's 50% of 18? What's half of 18?
9.
Another check is, well, I can go 25. What's 25% of 18, which is another half of 9? And that's going to be what? Half of 9 is 3. Try again. Half of 9, like 9 divided by 2. 4.5. You should just know this. So then X is 4.32. That's 24%. So 24% is smaller than 25%. So that number should be smaller than 4.5. Is that number smaller than 4.5?
No.
4.32 is not smaller than 4.5. That's how you check mentally. You don't need a calculator for that. Next question, let's go.
42%.
Where do you put 12?
Part.
Where do you put 42? Where's your X?
My X is on the quarter.
Okay, I don't want you to cross multiply this, but I want you to write it out because you're not good at just doing this on the calculator. Write it out. How would you cross multiply this?
X times 42% is
It's not 42%. It's just 42.
42x. 100 times 12 is 1,200. I will divide that by 42. Do you want me to use the calculator?
Yeah, use the calculator. I don't have time to wait for you. Sorry. Let's go. 2 more questions.
28.5. 28.57.
Let's go ahead and see if this makes any sense. Okay, let's check it. Basically, what it's saying is, okay, 50%, because 42 is close to 50, right?
Yep.
Of what number is 12? So half of what number is 12?
Yep.
Half of 6 is 3. Half of what number is 12?
6.
Half of 6 is 3. Half of what number equals 12? Like what number divided by 2 equals 12?
6.
6 divided by 2 is?
3.
Okay, that's not it. What number divided by 2 equals 12? 6 divided by 2 is 3. 3 is not 12.
24.
There you go. 50% 24 is 12. 42 is close to 50, isn't it? So 42% of 24, is that gonna be bigger than 12 or smaller than 12?
Bigger.
It actually doesn't even matter, because 50% of 24 is 12. So then 28 is pretty close to that number, isn't it? So it's good. Okay, let's just go ahead and do number 14, because it's very similar to number 12 and 11. So let's set it up. Where do you put 72?
So true. Let's see. Parts.
Yes, because remember, I know it says is over of, yeah, because that's part over whole. Okay, now where do you put the 24?
No.
Of what percent is what it's asking. So where's X?
X.
Okay, over 100. Now cross multiply. Three X equals 300. Okay. That's good enough for me. So 72 is what percent of 24? It is 300% of 24. That sounds fine. Yeah. Because if we think about it, okay, 72, 24, right? If you think about it, isn't 60 times 3 equals, or hold on, 20 times 3 gonna give me 60? 3 times 300%. Okay. All right, number 13, last one. Let's go.
The graph below shows the percent of people in various job categories who work full-time in 2012. If my business has 50 people working in this category, how many people do I employ?
Okay, in various jobs. So which industry do we want to look at? If my business has 15 people working in the what industry?
Service category.
So service is 16%, right?
Yeah.
Management is 25, others 31%, education is 13%, sales is 15%. All of these percentages should add up to 100%, right? Because 100% is basically a pie graph, right? A whole circle. How many people are working in the service industry?
15 people.
N is a number of people. So N for service, I'm going to put N, S is 15, right?
Yeah.
15 people accounts for 16%, right?
Yeah.
All right, well then, so then others, this one will be 0.31. Okay, let's say X equals the total number of people. Total number of people that are in others, management, service, sales, and education, right?
Yeah.
If X equals the total number of people, then I know that for service, if I do 0.16, because that's 16%, right?
Yeah.
Times X, which is a total number of people, that will give me 15 people, right?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then if I were to go ahead and if I'm like, well, I want to know the total number or the number of people working in others, I would do 0.31 times X, which will give me whatever that number is for others, right?
Yeah.
Right. But I don't know what that is because it doesn't give me that. But what it does give me is for service, 16% of the people, 16% of people working in the service industry equals 15 people, right?
Yeah.
So 16% times the total number of people, which I don't know what it is, but this is what I'm going to find because this X right here is how many people I employ, the total number of people I employ, right? So then if I want to get rid of the 0.16, because to get rid of that, I want to find X, how do I get rid of a 0.16 times X? What's the opposite of a times? So let's divide by 0.16 on both sides. So then what's X equal to? Drop your calculator.
15 divided by 0.16.
Yep.
93.75.
Well, I can't really have 0.75, right?
Yeah.
So we're just gonna round up and say 94 people. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if you have 94 people and you multiply it, so take 94. What is 94 times 0.31?
29.14.
I just put 29 people working others. What about 94 times 0.25?
23.5.
I'll just put 23 because you can't have half a person. Okay,
Yeah.
technically it should be a number that you can.
Or-
Yeah, what about people in education? You could keep going with it, right? But I'm saying like that's what you do. Okay, that concludes everything. So then we are done.